Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm your football host, Brandon Perna, and in terms of my analysis, I've been called the New York Giants of two-point plays. NFL Week 8's in the bag. Jayden Daniels delivered the most exciting play of the season with the communist catch caught by Comrade Noah, making Caleb Williams his red diaper baby. Russell Wilson got his second big win in the black and gold. The Eagles are flying high once again in Kansas City, still undefeated. I'm going to deliver you the real winners and losers from this week of football, but first, a revolutionary terror so great not even Karl Marx would look at it. The Blob 10 plays. Blob 10, Lions linebacker Trevor Nowosaki? I don't know, but he gets juked for the touchdown by Mason Rudolph? Dual threat quarterback Mason Rudolph? The Texans secondary blops the coverage here on this 69-yard touchdown. If you're not in the frame, you can't get the blame for giving up the touchdown. Blop 8, the closed captioning at the end of the Bills game. Josh Allen says, "That frickin' guy."
Wow. And how about your rookie behind you? Wow.
That frickin' guy.
But it reads, "Wow, African guy." It's almost like Aaron Andrews' face knows the mistake has been made. Blob 7, Isaiah Rodgers swats this ball right to CJ Gardner-Johnson for the interception. Have we shown this play to the Chicago Bears yet? No. Blob 6, Tyler Algier fumbles the handoff. No one can recover, and the ball bounces back through the end zone for a safety. No joke here because we forgot to write one. And I am tired. Blob 5, well, it was just a matter of time, but the stars aligned in LA for one big... Yeah, not since Dingle and Barry have I seen a pair of jerseys so destined for one another. Blob 4, the ball is snapped through Tua's hands, and he has to blop it out the back of the end zone as well. This was progress from Tua, though, who before his last injury might have tried to pick up this ball and run headfirst through the entire Cardinals defense. Blob 3, a two-point trick play so bad not even Rick Moranis would have given it a go in the movie The Little Giants. Chuck Pagano saw this and immediately started having Nom-like flashbacks. The worst part of this blop is the Giants got the look they wanted, but none of the linemen blocked. You have one job here. This might be the most poorly executed play I've ever seen. Blob 2, 74-year-old Mickey Thomas forgetting the words to the national anthem before the Raiders game. Oh, say does that star-spangled yabba-dabba-doo, where everybody knows your name. And Blop 1, Rashad Bateman losing the ball in the sun.
It pinballed right off his shoulder.
Oh man, the only receiver who can't use the sun as an excuse is, of course, the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown. But no drop was more costly than Kyle Hamilton dropping this game-clinching interception. Holy crap.
It's the third drop they've had today in the secondary.
Blop 0 and losing miracles the Bears. Rarely do you see the exact moment God decided to smite your team. Caleb Williams did the impossible and got Chicago the lead with less than 30 seconds left in the game. He's the man you've been waiting for, Chicago. And on the final play, the infamous Hail Mary, Bears corner, second-year corner, my losing defender, Tariq Stevenson, was actively talking shit to Commanders fans in the crowd. Now, he was talking crap before the play started, which is fine, but as soon as the Almighty saw him continue to talk shit during the play, that's when God decided the Commanders would get this win. To Stevenson's credit, this play lasted 12 seconds. Which gave him plenty of time to get back into the mix. And by back into the mix, I mean be in perfect position to volley the ball back to Noah's Ark, where all animals but bears are saved. Winning fan? This Commanders fan who was keeping it positive in an interview before the final play happened.
I feel as though we won, for real. We like...
If you like football, please subscribe here. It's my birthday too. Today's my birthday and I'm 40. And I'm terrified. Oh God, I'm terrified of becoming irrelevant. So please subscribe. Also, over at Benchwarmer shop, we've got some new merch and we've got the Get Fucked bundle for my birthday. That's right, the Get Effed bundle. You get 2 bags of F the Refs coffee and our brand new F the Refs mugs. The shirts are available, but we got these in coffee mugs. Shout out to Rachel who designed these. If you watch the streams or GPS, you probably know Rachel. She did all the cursed logos. But for my 40th, $40, 2 bags of coffee, the new coffee mug. Go get it. My losing team? By the very definition of team, it's the infighting Seattle Seahawks. That fight carried over all the way to the sideline. Something's just not right in Seattle. You became the first team to intercept Josh Allen this year and you still lost 31-10, Seahawks. That's like handing Superman kryptonite just so he can beat the shit out of you with it. Bills running back James
I'm uncooked here.
Had a great day, 2 rushing touchdowns, 111 yards on the ground. Khalil Shakir also broke the century mark, but my winning catch this week is going to Keon Coleman for this very grown-ass man grab in the end zone. He's really looked good in the last 2 games. And I know you guys think that Patrick Mahomes should get the revenge dagger for beating the Raiders after this happened months ago. But getting revenge on the lowly Raiders is like a dad hooping it up with his 8-year-old son and then repeatedly just swatting the shit out of every shot he takes. In fact, you should be ashamed for only winning by a touchdown. My losing stat, going to the Raiders, Andy Reid literally has more wins at Allegiant Stadium than any Raiders head coach with 6. That's embarrassing. Like Devontae Adams last week, DeAndre Hopkins didn't do much in his debut, just 2 receptions for 29 yards. That's going to change once he's been in Kansas City for longer than 5 minutes. But things opened up a bit for Travis Kelce, and the rookie Xavier Worthy had another touchdown. Without Hopkins, Calvin Ridley had 143 receiving yards. Sure, his team lost 52-14, but he shined. My winning goal line stand, well, that's going to the Chiefs defense who bailed out the offense after a Mahomes pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage and picked by Trayvon Morag and returned to the 3-yard line. Underrated defender right now is Drew Tranquill. Tranquill doesn't get a lot of talk because he's not one of the 5 most recognizable names or faces on the Chiefs, but he's been an absolute stud since getting to Kansas City a year ago. Against the Raiders, Tranquill had one of the Chiefs' 5 sacks, had another quarterback hit, and notched 3 tackles for a loss in the Chiefs' 7-point win on the road. The Raiders' putrid rushing attack reared its ugly butt, and Kansas City stopped them 4 times in a row when the Raiders trailed by just 4 points. And still, the Raiders may have had a chance if it wasn't for this losing fumble by Gardner Minshew in the 4th quarter that handed Kansas City their last TD with great field position. The longer Gardner Minshew is a Raider, by the way, the more he goes from sexy and flirting to straight up harassment. Oh, and now the Patriots have traded Josh Uche to the Chiefs to add some help to their already top 5 defense. 3 of the top 5 scoring defenses are all in the AFC West, by the way. And I'll give you a hint, the Raiders aren't one of them. My winning quarterback? Well, we had a lot of good QB performances this week. Bo Nix comes to mind. Yes, he does. But for the 2nd time in the last month, I'm giving the winning quarterback to Kirk Cousins. Why, you ask? Well, he made history on Sunday. Kirk Cousins became the first man in NFL history to throw 2 touchdowns to Kyle Pitts in the same game. We didn't think it could be done. And if the refs really looked at it, I don't think it was done. But Kirk boldly stood up and said, I'll break the Pitts barrier. Kirk threw 2 other touchdowns, giving him 4 on the day as the Falcons finished off their season sweep of the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Atlanta finds itself at 5-3 atop the NFC North with the tiebreaker already secured against those Bucs, who are 1 spot behind them. My losing potty mouth, whoever this was.
Round good defense.
The best part, though, is the announcer asking if that was their producer, Fred Morrison.
It was so aggressive, I thought he was yelling at one of us.
Was that our producer, Fred Morrison?
Sounded like him.
Nice improv there, Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma, but even that was tame compared to another tremendous hot mic moment in the Falcons-Bucks game.
Fucking
One so profane, I have to bleep the second word. Me, the king of jizz, bleeping out a word.
I'm the king of jizz.
Fucking
The Odd Couple Award goes to Jameis Winston and Baker Mayfield, who were the two passing leaders through Sunday night. The former Buccaneer got the win in Cleveland with 334 passing yards and 3 TDs. The former Brown took an L with Tampa, but threw for 330 yards and 3 TDs, plus 2 picks. But Baker did that without Godwin and Mike Evans in the lineup. A combined 664 passing yards from 2 quarterbacks who have been passed around to 7 different teams. Today I'm going to be giving out 2 bed shitter awards, starting with the Ravens. Yeah, you couldn't cover Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy? 11 carries for Derrick Henry? Come on, guys. Myles Garrett showed up to the game dressed as the Terminator. Why? To stop John Connor from ever being born? No. He was sent back to stop the Browns from signing Deshaun Watson. But I'm sorry, Skynet. Next time, double check your math, you terrorist nerds. You sent him here 3 years too late. But your plan may still work, as Jameis Winston, in one try, got 300 passing yards, something Deshaun Watson never did as a Brown. My losing quarterback? I gotta give it to Anthony Richardson, who left the game because he was, quote, tired.
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there, what I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play, so I just, just told saying I just needed a break right there.
Not to sound too old school, but you don't get to be tired when you're the starting quarterback. Now, he was probably tired of throwing incompletions because Richardson was just 10 of 32 and the Colts lost to the Texans, also getting sacked 5 times and throwing a pick. Even though he's completing fewer passes than Tim Tebow and Jamarcus Russell, he's being inefficient in fun ways. He started the game 2 of 15 with 81 passing yards and a touchdown. His first half completion percentage of 13.3% is the lowest by a quarterback in 30 years, but again, I guarantee those other idiots didn't have 81 yards as a TD. I get that Richardson is a project, but everyone in that building has to know that every week they don't start Joe Flacco is a week they're throwing away. They're stacking everything on his development right now, and I'm not seeing a lot of development at this point. And yet, Houston only won by 3 points. Stephon Diggs went down with a non-contact knee injury. I hope he's okay, as he had my winning celebration this week. Look at him here with his hands in the air for the Joe Mixon touchdown, while Mixon is wrapped up a 3 full yards shy of the goal line. That is called faith. My losing return, Tua and the Dolphins. Tua to Tyreek was back. Sorta. They only really were back for 72 yards, and a severe underthrow that reminded me why people say Tua has no arm strength. Miami lost, but I am giving them the winning run. Sure, James Conner's bulldozing run late in the 4th quarter set up the cards for the game-winning kick for Chad Ryland, who's been great filling in for an injured Matt Prater, but I'm giving it to Tua, who ran without doing a concussion. A monumentous accomplishment for Tua. Winning pettiness, Kyler Murray, who keeps his receipts, calling Sleeper the Temu of fantasy. Kyler was great in this game, 307 yards, 124 going to Trey McBride, and a $111 going to Marvin Harrison Jr., coupled with the TD. Kyler also did something he hasn't done since 2021. He has back-to-back wins for the first time since then. And he did it the week Black Ops came out. The Cardinals are in first place in the NFC West, tied for first place, but is Kyler about to go on an MVP run? Winning game manager? Rarely will you see a team score 52 points with the quarterback throwing 3 TDs, receive the winning game manager award, but Jared Goff was the definition of a game manager against the Titans, throwing for just 85 yards and managing to win by 38 fucking points in the process. Goff did throw touchdowns to Khalif Raymond, Brock Wright, and Sam Laporta, but you don't have to rack up yards through the air when your opponent in a shootout is Mason Rudolph. Mason was a wily quarterback in this game, not good per se, but he never quit on any play. Just another hilarious game where the Lions completely toyed with their prey, much like a real lion.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?
Goff also gets my winning stats. plural. The Lions had 9 net passing yards in the first half with 5 offensive touchdowns. The Lions have 24 touchdowns to 19 incompletions in the last 5 games. They are efficient and lethal. Sonic and Knuckles were big reasons for that in the first half. Gibb finished with an impressive 127 yards on 11 carries. David Montgomery threw a TD to Sam Laporta, and Amon-Ra has a touchdown grab in 5 straight games. Getting back to his roots when he emerged on the NFL scene, catching a touchdown in 4 straight games to finish the 2021 season. Winning special teams, the fucking Lions. Khalif Raymond scores a kick return TD on the 3rd big return of the day, giving Detroit well over 200 return yards. Did a white corner get an interception this week? No, but Cooper DeJean got a nice stop on 4th down. My winning receiver? Feels wrong to even name a winning wide receiver on National Tight Ends Day, but I'll do it anyway. He didn't have a TD, but I'm giving it to Puka Nacua, who returned to the Rams offense for the first time since week 1 and immediately put up 7 grabs for 106 yards in the win against the Vikings. There was no easing Puka or Cooper Kupp back into the lineup. The Rams just have to win and stay winning to get back into the playoff race. Puka was great. And I also want to highlight Cedric Tillman, who caught 2 Jameis Winston touchdowns in the Browns upset. Anything you can do to not give the ball to Jerry Jeudy, apparently. Wasted effort? In a losing performance, CeeDee Lamb, who led the league with 146 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns through Sunday night. He was the reason Dallas had a chance late in this game. Yet they still botched it. Great job, Dallas. All right, I love Scott Hanson. I really do. But if I never have to hear about National Tight Ends Day ever again, it will be too soon. That said, my winning tight end, the inventor of this stupid day, George Kittle. Yes, he played great. But I had to hear every announcer and every reporter mention it several times. Kittle, 128 yards and a TD, most production of any of the tight ends on National Perfect Butts Day. There were a lot of tight end TDs, which was great for all fantasy owners who were suffering pretty much all season due to the lack of production from the position. Kyle Pitts, of course, scored those 2 tuds. Tucker Kraft, 78 yards and a TD. Trey McBride had the 2nd most receiving yards. Travis Kelce found the end zone. And the greatest surprise, Broncos tight end Adam Troutman, who had 85 receiving yards and a TD. My losing tight end, Mike Gesicki, who honored the hot dude butt day by fumbling. And I now pronounce your playoff hopes dead. Both to the Bengals and the Jets. You both get the Bed Shitters Award. So I actually gave away 3 Bed Shitters today. Cincy is now 3-5 after a 20-point loss at home against the Eagles. And 3 of their next 4 games come against the Ravens, Chargers, and Steelers. Joe Burrow still has excellent numbers on the season, as does Jamar Chase, but their defense is still 23rd in scoring despite getting to pad their stats against Deshaun Watson and Dan Jones in their 2 previous games before running into Jalen Hurts and the Birds. Evan McPherson has regressed in year 4. Lou Anarumo is no longer running a tight ship on defense, and all of the heat from Nick Sirianni's hot seat is officially transferred to Zach Taylor, who's now 12-13 as a head coach since the start of the 2023 season. I know that Super Bowl run might have brought him a Marvin Lewis type leash, but he's currently wasting a talented unit. You know it's bad if I had Eagles roasting you.
At some point with Joe Burrow and his hair, you knew it was going to go from Eminem to Lance Bass.
My Josh Allen overrated award, which goes to a guy who's totally not overrated, Jalen Hurts, who was nothing more than a glorified touchdown vulture against the Bengals. Saquon Barkley did all the dirty work in Cincinnati, picking up over 100 yards on the ground, but all 3 of his rightful touchdowns went to Jalen Hurts, who needed a convoy of Eagles to even get in the end zone. This isn't the first time Hurts has hogged the ball in the red zone. Now he's trying to steal the glory from Saquon Barkley. How do we decide who gets the ball on the goal line from now on? That's right, a squat off. Hurts also getting my only Mahomes award to really make this confusing. He coined this FDR that only Mahomes could dime to Devontae Smith, a 46-yard strike, close to 60 air yards for the quarterback with no arm strength. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott has 9 turnovers in 7 games for the Cowboys, and his teammates are yelling at reporters after they get their butts kicked.
I'm asking you. We can talk about it more. What were you doing then?
Speaking of kicks, losing kicker Greg Zuerlein missed another big kick for the Jets and their loss against the Pats. Greg, the peg leg, is now just 9 for 15 on the season. New York actually had another kicker in the building during training camp. Austin Seibert, who's now gone 23 for 25 for the Commanders this year, including a 7 field goal game early in the season. The Jets ended up sticking with Greg because of their financial commitment, but I do find it odd that a team who's allegedly gone all in with trades and firings won't move on from a kicker who's directly cost them multiple games this season.
From that standpoint, you could never question Greg, ever.
Losing stat, the Jets, who had 0 turnovers, scored 20-plus points, held the Patriots to just 247 yards, and still lost. They're the first team to lose a game in which they did not turn the ball over and held their opponent to under 250 since week 3 of 2012. Winning meme goes to the Boston sports throwback, dunking on the Jets from the bottom of the shit pile that is everything in the AFC East not named the Bills. Winning running back, well, a week after finally catching his first receiving touchdown in 6 NFL seasons, Josh Jacobs carried the Packers to victory with a $127 on 25 runs, including a pair of touchdowns in the Packers' narrow win on the road in Jacksonville. Green Bay needed all they could get from Jacobs because Jordan Love left the game with a groin injury at the top of the third quarter. When you love that much, sometimes you're going to pull a groin. Luckily, it doesn't appear to be serious. Malik Willis kept the Packers in it as he replaced Love for the second time this season. A lot was made about Aaron Jones going over to the Vikings, but the Josh Jacobs signing was kind of glossed over. And all of a sudden, he's 4th in rushing yards halfway through the season. Brandon McManus has now kicked 2 game winners for Green Bay in just 2 games. And the moment some of you have been kind of waiting for, the revenge dagger. Chargers center Bradley Bozeman gets my first ever instant revenge dagger. This dirty Saints player, Nathan Shepard, tries to rip off Justin Herbert's leg. Bozeman instantly comes to his defense. After the game, Bozeman noted,
"Probably one of the dirtier plays I've ever seen, especially with my own eyes."
And while that might sound redundant,
especially with my own eyes,
I know for a fact that Bozeman will rip out a dude's eyes and see through them if he chooses. The Chargers have the #1 defense in the NFL. They should trade for T. Higgins, but Lada McConkey stepped up with an injured Quentin Johnston and caught 2 touchdowns and broke 100 yards for the first time this season. Winner, one of the most underrated players at the corner position in the league, Mr. Underrated nickel man Jaquan McMillan. It was late in the game, but he had one of the more insane interceptions you will ever see. Perfectly times the jump, turns around, and somehow catches this football. It's not just this pick. He's been doing the dirty work all season, feasting on the scraps left by Pat Surtain and Riley Moss. Surtain and Moss get all the attention, but McMillan is the third piece in that Bermuda Triangle where all footballs go to die. He hasn't allowed a touchdown this season, and I love him. I simply love him. Winners of ugliness, the Steelers on Monday Night Football, who are now 22-0 on Monday Night Football at home, with their last loss coming at home in 1992. Back when Mike Tomlin was just 20 years old and still this freaking cool. God, he's so cool. And in true Steelers fashion, this game was a tough watch as they climbed to the top of the AFC North. It was a 9-9 tie at halftime because every touchdown that was scored was called back due to penalty. All of them. A face mask by the Steelers tackle, Broderick Jones. An illegal shift by the Giants. I guess Troy Aikman didn't see an illegal shift, and this crackdown on illegal shifts or motions, guys not being fully set, makes me want to do crack. Just kidding. Instead, just have a cup of my Fuck the Refs bundle instead. Benchwarmer shop. Someone needs to show how many times, though, this penalty has negated cool plays this season. And then we had a third touchdown denied when the referees reviewed this play and George Pickens' second foot never came down. I think the entire football world learned that getting 1 foot down 2 times does not equate to a catch. I've never seen a catch look more like a catch that wasn't a catch than this play. Pickens keeping that ball firmly secured in his hands. It's incredibly impressive. The craziest part, though, the Steelers' punt return touchdown should have been negated by a penalty, but the officials didn't think this was running into the kicker. Oh boy. Oh boy. I am happy though for Russ, who threw 1 touchdown. had a couple jaw-dropping deep balls. Yes, he did that all last season, guys, and he still got the win with the Steelers. Why? They run the ball more effectively, and their defense is better than the Broncos' defense was last year because Russ also fumbled late in the fourth quarter, which he did last year a few times, but the Steelers is too good. They bailed him out. And now he seems genuinely happy and accepted, which is nice. I am happy for him. I don't know why you guys think I'm rooting against Russ. I'm not. Let's ride. Thanks for watching. That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I really appreciate the support. I can't believe we get to keep doing this every single year. I love football. And you guys allow me to love it so hard that I'm gonna pull a groin watching it one day.